Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody all across the world. Welcome to the official opening of the 30th International Conference of the International Association of Management of Technology. We're really delighted to be with you today, having the focus going online and all across the world. We are really delighted to be with you today. All the activities of the Iamot will be live broadcasted on social media through different websites. I have the pleasure to call Professor Tariq Khalil, the founder of Iamot and conference chair, to address an official opening. Dr. Tariq, floor is yours. Dr. Tariq?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the globe. Welcome to the 30th International Conference on Management of Technology, Iamot 2021. We are very pleased that you have decided to join us in this very important conference today. Before I go ahead and introduce my speakers, I would like to ask Dr. Osman Ahmed if Osman is with us, the president of Iamot. I would like to invite him to say hello to our attendees. Osman, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Tarek.
Go ahead, Osman.
Thank you so much. So good morning from US West Coast. This is early in the morning, 5 o'clock my time. First and foremost, I hope you all are doing fine, staying healthy and safe. Dear conference chair and founder of Iamot, Dr. Tariq Khalil, our keynote speaker today, His Excellency Dr. Ahmad Talat, distinguished guests, conference attendees, and students. It is with my great honor and privilege that I welcome you all to the 30th Annual Conference of the International Association for Management of Technology, or Iamot. So I'm sorry to say that I cannot use my video because my internet connection is shaky. I may lose connection actually. So please, you have to listen to my audio. I'm sorry about this. So this is our second online conference, which is hosted by the Nile University, Cairo, Egypt. When we hosted our first online conference last year, again hosted by Nile's University, we didn't have no other choice due to COVID-19 pandemic. But facing significant adversity, Iamot and Nile's University showed tremendous courage, organizational excellence, and leadership in making Iamot 2020 successful in every sense. Our success was a true testament of human ingenuity and resiliency. This year, we wanted to do online conference regardless whether we could hold an in-person conference or not. In fact, Iamot has decided that from now on, we shall always hold an online conference in parallel to an in-person conference. Online conference means we hope more access, more participation, and collaboration among the conference participants from around the world. This year's conference theme, MOT for the World for the Future, is so appropriate because the future is so challenging, yet so exciting, and above all, so conflicting. To save our planet, we want to consume less and reduce our carbon footprint while improving our quality of life, all simultaneously. So better world now means less carbon consumption, yet improving our health, social equity, education, and safety. While developed economies of the world need to reduce carbon footprint, the developing economies need to increase energy consumption, but not carbon. I hope all these counterintuitive and conflicting goals mean great opportunities for MOT, theorists, and practitioners. And I hope over the next few days, you shall find ample opportunities in addressing these topics and more by attending technical sessions, some great keynote speeches, and parallel sessions. I want to express my deepest sense of gratitude to all the authors who have submitted abstracts. I congratulate authors whose papers and abstracts that have been accepted by the conference committee for publications. You are the lifeline of Iamot. It is because of you who have chosen Iamot as a platform to present and showcase your great research work, we get a chance to serve you. So thank you. I'm also thankful to Dr. Tariq Khalil, the General Conference Chair, Co-Chair, and Editor, Professor Leon Pretorius, for their leadership and invaluable contribution in holding this conference and for its success. I also recognize the peer reviewers and members of organizing committee and advisory committee with great sense of appreciation. I hope to meet you all virtually during the online conference and very soon in person. Finally, my personal thanks to Dr. Nizar Sami, Dr. Muhammad Azam, and Ms. Heidi Muhammad Helmi for their untiring efforts in making this conference successful. Please stay safe and healthy, and let us hope to come together for a better Iamot and for a better future. So long. Thank you. Tariq?
Thank you very much, Osman. Indeed, I am honored and privileged to once again chair the International Conference on Management of Technology in its 30th cycle. This is the second year that we hosted this conference at Nile University in cooperation with the School of Management of Technology at the University of Pretoria, South Africa. The board of directors of the International Association for Management of Technology has decided to hold this year's conference in a virtual mode due to the continuing situation the world's facing of COVID-19. We had to do that last year, and we succeeded in doing it successfully, and we look forward to repeating that success this year. I look back with nostalgia and pride to the first international conference that I chaired in Miami, Florida, in February of 1988. And I find that our vision for the role of management of technology in all aspects of life has not only been realized, but also has expanded to be the path to the future. This year's conference is hosted by Nile University in Cairo, Egypt. This young, vigorous university was established with the philosophy ingrained in the conviction that science and technology are the key to competitiveness, wealth creation, sustainability, and human prosperity. It is my privilege and honor to have served as its founding president. When we chartered the International Association in 1992 in Miami, Florida, we gained international recognition and became instrumental in establishing CanMod, the Canadian Association, FRAMOD, the French Association, ChinaMod, the Chinese one, the European conferences, and the field started expanding and proliferating all over the world. Under several names, actually. Newly established organizations have been formed, including organizations such as Innovation Management, Technology and Innovation Management, Technology and Engineering Management, Entrepreneurship, Foresight and Forecasting, National Technology Policy, National Innovation Policy, R&D Management, and many, many more. And today, we get together again to celebrate our 30th International Conference as we look once to the MOT for the world of the future. I would like to welcome all the presenters and participants in this year's conference, and I look forward to many informative sessions and fruitful discussions. I also look to the future and wish that next year we can meet again in person to renew our social interactions and revive our lasting friendships. I want to thank everybody that participated in making this conference the way it is right now. I'd like to thank our program chairs, Leon and Tina Pretorius. I want to thank the chairs of the conference in terms of the advisory boards, the local organizing committee, our staff that worked diligently to prepare for this conference, and all the people that helped us in making our 30th international meeting a reality. And now for our keynote speaker. It's my privilege indeed to introduce our opening keynote speaker for the conference. And we thank him very much for putting this conference under his auspices. His Excellency, Dr. Hamd Talat, Egypt Minister of Communication and Information Technology. With over 30 years of solid experience in IT and telecom industry, implementing and working strategies for provisions of innovative digital technologies, Talat was tasked with a chief mission to lead Egypt's Digital Transformation Initiative 2020. Talat is confident of what immersive technology can offer to serve as strong arm to empower vital sectors of the economy and realize the Sustainable Development Strategy Egypt Vision 2030. Talat's endeavor aims to oversee the implementation of several strategic projects that include developing and securing the country's IT and telecom infrastructure, creating generation of professionals specializing in advanced digital technologies, spurring innovation and improving government performance and quality of services offered to the citizens as a main objective of the government's digital transformation mega program. A strong believer in the power of youth as active participants in the socio-economic development of the nation, Talat led a number of digitally based empowerment initiatives to engage professionals to support such belief. Throughout his career, Talat succeeded in materializing exceptional investments, mergers, and acquisitions to attract and nurture foreign direct investment to the country and create the value add. Under his leadership, before joining the government of Egypt, Talat spearheaded IBM Egypt's expansion plans, ensuring the creation of unique job opportunities and the establishment of centers of excellence to export digital services. Throughout his career at IBM Egypt, he held various leadership roles till he headed the firm. Talat was an adjunct professor at Cairo University with teaching experience in market and sales strategies and tactics, organizational behavior, and strategic management. He was an honorary member at the ICT board at Cairo University, member of the ICT board of the Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, and chairman of ICT committee of the American Chamber of Commerce. He earned his doctorate degree in business administration from the University of Paris in the Paris School of Business, and obtained a Master of Science in Computer Science from Illinois Institute of Technology, holds an MBA from Esclasca Business School in France, and he is a graduate of Cairo University's Faculty of Engineering. So I'd like for you to welcome with me Dr. Ahmed Talat.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you today to Egypt and to this important and high-profile conference. This edition of the Management of Technology Conference comes at a unique time where the entire world is dealing with the effects of a very challenging and long-drawn pandemic. In many ways, COVID-19 has driven us to review our priorities as individuals, institutions, and nations. Perhaps one of the most important transformations it has driven so far is the role of technology that plays in our lives. More than ever before, technology has become indispensable in a world forced into months of social distancing. Rather than an optional addition, it has now become the only way to access basic services across domains such as education, healthcare, financial transactions, and entertainment. Before the pandemic, emerging technologies, or technology of the fourth industrial revolution, as they are known, including AI, IoT, 5G, robotics, 3D printing, blockchain, as well as others, already held a massive promise. AI alone is expected to contribute over $15 trillion to the global economy by the year 2030 and boost GDP for local economies by up to 26%. Furthermore, it is expected to generate more than 100 million new jobs in the same period and pave the way for new and innovative business models, making entrepreneurship easier and more accessible than ever before. In the past year, the COVID-19 global pandemic has accelerated these numbers even further. For example, internet usage has soared since the start of the pandemic, increasing by over 70%. The use of communication applications has risen by 300%, and video streaming services have grown almost 20-fold. Companies have become more open to fully remote work arrangements, and previous barriers based on location or nationality are coming down fast. This rapid acceleration has posed a great opportunity for individuals and nations ready to seize it. And indeed, many countries, Egypt amongst have greatly accelerated their digital transformation plans, whether by expanding the networking infrastructure or digitizing more services or deploying emerging technologies such as AI, blockchain, and IoT to help accelerate the transformation. On the other hand, the pandemic has highlighted, and in some cases increased, the digital divide between the global north and the global south. In a recent study, Africa shows up as the leader in the acceleration of digital transformation across all sectors due to the pandemic. However, because Africa's starting point was so slow to begin with, the gap is still extremely wide, leading to the continent being disadvantaged in matters like drug discovery, vaccine delivery, and online education. Another issue highlighted by the pandemic is that technology cannot exist in a vacuum, especially when it touches our everyday lives in such fundamental ways. For technology to add real value to our lives as individuals and institutions, it requires an entire ecosystem to work together, which is where the role of technology management comes in, and why this year's conference is particularly important. It is no longer sufficient to develop point solutions using technology applications that stand on their own. Software stacks have become increasingly complex, often including open and closed source components, and the advent of technologies such as 5G, edge computing, and IoT means that there is much tighter integration needed between software and hardware. The data-driven nature of most of today's applications require proper management of data sources, data quality, and security, and the infrastructure required to support all of these solutions must be robust, scalable, and easily adaptable to new advances in technology. You could design the most advanced AI model in the world, but unless it's embedded in a properly designed application that meets user needs and can interoperate with systems around it to exchange data and results, then unless it's properly monitored to ensure regular updates and data privacy, that model will be useless. Consequently, the teams and skills required to develop and manage these solutions are more diverse than ever before. This deepening dependence on technology has also alerted us to other aspects of it we need to pay attention to, such as ethics, regulations, social, economic, and financial impact, to name but a few. It is too easy to get carried away in wanting to adopt the latest technologies such as AI in solving any problem. However, we're all aware of the high computational requirements of deep learning models, which is not only costly in terms of energy consumption, but also damaging to the environment in the long term. Issues with bias in data or models can cause serious problems in real-world applications and lead to more harm than benefit. It is therefore vital to conduct proper impact assessments before deploying emerging technologies on a wide scale. Research and development teams have to include, in addition to technical experts, domain experts, ethics, socialists, and legal and economic experts in order to be able to develop safe and responsible solutions. Digitalization is expected to change not only the volume of work and the demand of different skill levels, but also the organization of work. Individual tasks performed by people will increasingly become tradable over the internet, and the share of self-employed people who work on a project-by-project basis for various clients will increase. As a consequence, firms will gradually shift to more project-oriented organizational structures instead of fixed hierarchies. Such a platform or gig economy may lead to more self-determination and a better work-life balance for employees, but may also result in more insecurity and periods of involuntary unemployment. This means that current and future generations of workers will need a different set of skills to be able to survive and thrive in this new global economy. Skills such as teamwork, project management, communication, and crucially, learning how to learn, which means acquiring the ability to constantly develop yourself and gain new skills and potentially even shift your domain of work every few years. Become as vital as hard skills like engineering or mathematics. This again leads us to the importance of managing the process and educating all members of the ecosystem to be able to better deal with these new realities. This is why in Egypt we have embarked on an ambitious national project we call Digital Egypt. This means having individuals who are ready to use technology safely, efficiently, and to its maximum potential. It means having institutions that are capable of adopting technology to achieve gains and efficiencies. It also means having an ecosystem that can contribute to the world's wealth of innovation and IP. Building Digital Egypt can only be achieved by adopting a pyramid-shaped approach to education, starting with general awareness for the entire population and moving to school children, university, TVET, and equivalent students, technical and non-technical professionals, all the way to leaders in business, government, academia, and civil society. As we said, technology cannot live in a vacuum. It needs to be closely tied to a country's development goals, and it is also needed to be developed ethically and responsibly to ensure that no harm befalls living beings or their environment as a result of its development. This is why Egypt is playing a strong role regionally and globally in fostering the ethical and responsible design and development of technologies such as AI, where we made substantial contributions to efforts by the OECD, UNESCO, and African Union, as well as others, to produce guidelines for governing the development of emerging technologies and limiting their risk. Emerging technologies are making it easier for developing countries to leapfrog more mature ones by accelerating innovation cycles and shortening the time to market of new products. This is similar to the way many countries bypassed fixed telecom networks and went straight to mobile. Governments have an important role in enabling this development and must intervene in ways that include, but are not limited to, acting as a catalyst for innovation by investing heavily in R&D and or designing policies that encourage the process of technology, innovation, and adoption. Governments should also become innovation hubs themselves by starting their own R&D operations, or in some cases even adopting startup-related approaches such as agile development. Supporting the startup ecosystem by launching incubator and accelerator programs, or making it easier for small and medium enterprises to participate in government projects. Facilitating innovation by availing large compute infrastructure and or open datasets around which startups can build business models. In Egypt, we have realized the importance and lofty promise that emerging technologies hold, and we are therefore embarked upon developing our national AI strategy 2 years ago. And we are now working on a national strategy for smart cities. We have created more than 10 innovation hubs around the country, and we're investing heavily in early stage tech startups. Crucially, we're enabling the technology education of over 200,000 people annually across all skill levels, multiplying our capacity building and human development budgets by 20 in only 3 years. While doing so, we're laser focused on our objective, namely to help the country achieve its development goals, creating better lives and opportunities for our citizens, and playing a strong role in the global discourse around the management and governance of these new technologies. I was pleased to see the strong overlap between the different tracks of this conference and our national priorities for technology deployment, be it in the area of regulation and policy making or applications in strategic sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, healthcare, and economic planning. I am a strong believer in building ties between academia, business, and government, and look forward to benefiting from the outcome of your deliberation in carrying out our work. I wish you all a successful and enriching conference and look forward to seeing the results. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for a wonderful presentation. We appreciate it very much. And we indeed will take some of the points that you have raised in here very seriously in our educational programs and institutions. I have also invited some of my colleagues to provide maybe some insights about the speech that we have just heard in here. And I'd like to ask them a few questions for this wonderful speech. Since the Iamot this year is talking about MOT for the world of the future, and in light of what we just heard from His Excellency, Dr. Iamot Talat, what do you think the future technologies that we should be paying attention to in the future? And how should we use this knowledge and the technologies that are being developed to indeed create wealth, progress, and social advancement? And I'd like to invite my colleague, Dr. Wael, the new president of Nile University, to give us some of his thoughts about these issues. Dr. Wael?
Thank you very much, Professor Tarek, for the invitation and for the very interesting video that we have seen for His Excellency, Dr. Iamot Talat. Regarding the technologies that we are supposed to be paying attention for in the future, I believe that building on what's existing right now, we expect our population globally to be around 8 to 9 billions in a few years, which means that whatever we are going to do has to make sure that we are properly utilizing the resources. This means we have to go into more enhancement in artificial intelligence technologies and algorithms. We have to invest more in data science and more intelligence in algorithms in data science and data technology. We really need to focus on smart materials, particularly on the quantum X, the quantum dots, or the quantum-based sensors, because those are the ones that we are going to really need in everything that we are going to work in agriculture or in the medical sectors. Intelligent medicine and intelligent fertilizers, because I mean we are going to work into the food and what's coming in that. The processing power of the computational power of processors, that means new designs for processors. I mean, we all have witnessed the emergence of the M1 processor by Apple and the neuro dependence of that. The applications and integrations of artificial intelligence in life-inspired machines, human-inspired or animal-inspired or fish-inspired machines. Those are really going to be I believe, our future technologies that we really need to pay attention to for the upcoming years.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wael. How about, do you have any thoughts about how we can convert this into actual wealth-creating projects or ideas in terms of spinning off some of these technologies to the marketplace to provide added value?
Well, I mean, there's a roadmap for actually going from a technology or immersive technology into a real product, and this has to follow. But it always has to make sure that the research centers that are going or working into these areas are properly aligned with the government strategies. So if the government strategies are towards more into food production, into water, and into more resource sharing, then proper funding should be into that. In addition to that, I mean, the industries or the business owners, they are very sensitive people who can really sense where the profit will be. That's where we are actually need to tap into their or align with their vision and direct all the research toward the future of the technologies that will provide benefit to that. In addition to that, really, we have to make sure that the crowdsourcing technique applies to everything, including the innovation and the startup and the build up of technologies into new products. This really has to be to expand into incubators, into innovation hubs, and the support of new ideas financially and logistically. I believe this is the way for the government or the next generation ecosystems to evolve for wealth creation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wael. I'd like to invite Dr. Ahmed Hassan, our Dean of the School of Computer Science and Information Technology, to give us his thoughts about, again, the technologies and spinning of these things.
Thank you, Dr. Tariq, for the questions. I would like to second the opinions of Dr. Wael Aql, his thoughts. And also, I would like to highlight our need to build the capacity in several technologies, including blockchain, virtual reality, and so on. I think after pandemic, virtual reality may be used to attract tourists who cannot afford coming to Egypt physically. So tourism may be very useful for us. We have a lot of attractions in Egypt, and we can use this to create wealth as well. Also, we have witnessed that several Egyptian companies have been subject to acquisition by very large global companies. Therefore, we have a lot of legacy in providing services to Africa and the Arab region, and this can be used in both health and education. Virtually, and using virtual reality and video conference tools, especially in the emerging technologies, including AI, big data, and data science. But I think we should highlight the need of having some structures and bodies who can manage the technology, and this may be the missing item that we should work to achieve in the next coming years. We have capacity, as Dr. Amr Talat said, and we build this capacity and develop more and more in this capacity. But also we need some bodies that can create wealth from this human resources in a very innovative ways. Thank you again for the questions and allowing me to share my thoughts. Thank you, Dr. Tariq.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. I'd like to invite our colleague, Mr. Muhammad Azam, maybe to make also a few comments. Mr. Azam is one of the Iamot board members.
Thank you, Professor Khalil, for introducing me. It's a pleasure to address the conference in the plenary session. I would like to capitalize on His Excellency talk as well as Dr. Aql talk. What we need is to build an ecosystem for appropriate technologies. It's very good to have advanced technologies, because advanced technologies will give you an advantage of owning different technologies that could be utilized. However, I see the implementation of technology is more important rather than having the technology in vacuum. That's why personally I'm a believer in clustering, and I'm a believer in building economic clusters based on the local competitiveness of the nation, and linking the different clusters across the country. Combining the outcome of these economic clusters would definitely help to improve the national competitiveness, and will improve the country position on the competitiveness ladder. And this could be only realized through using the appropriate technology. Appropriate technology is not only the high tech, it could be medium tech, it could be low tech. However, we have a purpose to serve. We have a national or a natural competitive edge to serve. For example, if we are talking about the textile industry in Delta of Egypt, or we're talking about the medical plants in Upper Egypt, or the tourism cluster in Red Sea or in Luxor and Aswan, the only way to advance this cluster is having more utilization of appropriate technologies, linking the whole ecosystem all together. We need to link the academia with the industry, with the education system, with the training system, with the people who are serving, to have a proper, productive, effective cluster. And this is actually the role of management of technology. That's why I think we are seeing things from a different perspectives, and we need maybe we need to have a sort of a unified vision towards accomplishing such objective. Everyone has a sincere view. Everyone has a sincere work to do. But I think we are missing connecting those together. If we are having a master plan of the technology utilization across the country, everyone will have its own role. Everyone would have his or her own input. So that's why management and the management of technology is there for connecting dots. And if we would be able to connect dots, I think wealth creation will be a byproduct of this sincere efforts. Thank you, Professor Tariq. Thank you, Professor Aql, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Mohammed, for the comments. Appreciate it. I'd like to invite Nizar Sami, one of our board members, also to make some comments.
Thank you, Dr. Khalil. Thank you, Dr. Wael, for such an opportunity, and congratulations for the inauguration of the Iamot 2021. The speech of His Excellency Dr. Amr Talat addressing future technologies is really crucial for the future. I recall back the report coming to the World Economic Forum about the skills of the future and the preparation for future jobs. Right now, I will tackle it from another perspective. Access to talent is extremely important. And let me ask you a very simple question. Why we do this? For prosperity, wealth creation, to do what? So after we create the money, after we create the wealth, so how about the human being? How about the well-being of anybody all over the globe? So this is a key question, the social, moving into the societal impact. Measuring the impact is extremely important. So we need to find out. We heard a lot of initiatives and programs building the talents from a way or another. I recall that there is an ambitious program in Egypt to foster talent in this area, starting with high caliber in innovation and technology, with the master's degree with multinational and international universities. moving downwards to the bottom of the pyramids, where we have like a knowledge-based, a very good wide range of training programs to be provided. But the question is, what is the impact? So how we can measure the impact of these type of technologies, how we can move from one place to another, realizing how the technology will be impacting the on a day-to-day life of everybody. If I call the normal citizens, they have like a very basic need. Recalling the Maslow pyramids of needs, actually, if you walk on the street and ask anybody about the artificial intelligence, the cognitive AI, all these type of names, like very attractive names, and ask them about what does it mean for you? We need to go to down. At the end of the day, it is all about the application. It's all about the impact. It's all about solving the day-to-day challenges. Dr. Wael really mentioned. Dr. Wael mentioned a very useful, engaging, and future technologies like the smart fertilizers and some other of this type of emerging technologies. At the end, how this will impact the life of the farmers, how we're going to get the crops in more and more intense and more in another appropriate shape. So we need to focus on the social, the human being, the well-being as well. And why not to connect all these type of wonderful technologies with the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, and to measure
Hello. Having this type of what we call in the era of management of technology, the impact of the society, the role of the academic institution to provide the proper education program, and how about schools and school readiness. This is an extremely important, because this is a continuum pipeline. So we need to simplify knowledge, simplify technologies for everybody to get the proper utilization, measuring the impact, setting the right KPIs, the right KRIs, the key result indicators are an emerging topics for this. Thank you, Dr. Khalil, and congratulations for the inauguration of Iamot, and wish you all the best during the coming days. Thank you, Professor Khalil.
Thank you, Nazar. I'd like to invite board members, if they want to comment on the idea of the MOT for the future. That's the theme in the conference. If Osman is there, or I see a number of our board members in here, or Leon or Gita or someone would like to make a comment on what they see as MOT for the future. Osman?
Tariq, I can make some comments, quick comments.
Yes, please.
So in my opinion, we have to recognize that the technologies will develop in multi-directions. What I mean is that there will be some development of core technologies, and then we'll be having the cross-cutting technologies that will cover multiple domains. For example, in the case of healthcare, we will see the development of cell biology, how to actually cope with not only pandemic viruses, but also using cell to cure cancer, for example. But that technology needs a core technology, for example, digitalization. So for every domain, agriculture, and then manufacturing, energy sector, every domain that we think about today, there will be an infusion of cross-cutting technologies driven by material science, quantum physics, digitalization. So that's my comment, that MOT practitioners and theorists should think about how to apply and how to manage these cross-cutting technologies for domain-specific development and progress. Thank you, Tariq.
Thank you, Osman, for a wonderful comment. On Wednesday, we also plan to talk about how should we embed some of these things in our management of technology programs and educational systems that we use, which would be an interesting thing because we have to be prepared for the future. Any of the other board members would like to make a comment?
Yes, Geeta. This is Geeta. I'd like to just say something.
Yeah. Yes, please. Go ahead, Jeet.
Okay. Thank you.
Introduce yourself, please, Geeta. Yeah.
Yes. This is Geeta Suri. I'm a board member at Iamot and have been associated with this association for the last, I guess, since 2010. Thank you so much, Dr. Tariq Khalil and Dr. Osman Ahmed, for a wonderful beginning to the conference. Our keynote speaker this morning, Dr. Amir Talat, was amazing. He really went through the breadth of all the technologies available and talked really, very, very succinctly about all the different issues. So I'm really very grateful for all our wonderful speakers this morning. I just wanted to say that I think that he rightly pointed out that there are issues, including, we want, and also pointed out by Dr. Ahmed this morning, that there are things that we have to balance. We want more technology because it's going to increase the opportunities in our lives. And at the same time, we need to be aware of the dangers in terms of, environmental damage, potential lack of employment, etc. So I think there are multiple issues that need to be balanced as we go forward. And I think the human factor is really important, as Dr. Nazar Sami pointed out earlier, that we need to really be concerned about what the impact of this is going to be on the human, and for as well as the political aspects in every country. The more connected we are, the more opportunities we have around the globe. But there are also dangers that we need to be concerned about. And of course, there's a lot to do for Iamot in terms of educating people, because I think training is going to be very key going forward, including, making sure that the human, I guess the talent that we have, pool that we have available is well trained, et cetera, so that they can actually take advantage of these opportunities that the new technologies offer. Thank you so much for a wonderful start. I look forward to the rest of the conference.
Thank you, Geeta. And I should mention that you're coming from New York, probably.
Yes,
right?
I'm coming from New York.
And Osman is coming from California. So I thank you for being up so early to join.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else would like to make a comment? We say have few minutes, and then we're going to show a few videos, and then we'll go to the breakout sessions that will start at 4 o'clock our time, I believe.
Yes, Professor Tariq. This is Dr. Raman Agrawal from India. I'm one of the board members. Thank you for this opportunity. So actually, when we are talking of management of technology to create a world for the future, so in fact, 2 points I would like to mention here. One is our future, the global future. Future is now, and this future that we need to design and create. The role of management of technology is very paramount in this regard. In the same vein, I would like to tell that when we are talking of managing technology, in fact, the world is going to view many magical moments of newer and newer technology that can come to the horizon. Many combinations of technology the world is going to see. In this context, I think we need to also emphasize the aspects of soft technology. Besides the physical technology, the social technology is also very important that can hold the world together and can help us to create a future that we want to create, that Iamot want to create. Thank you very much, Professor Tariq, for this wonderful conference. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments. Wonderful. And we thank you for coming from India. Where are you in India now?
I'm in Bhubaneswar, Professor Tariq. This is eastern part of India, Bhubaneswar.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. We can have one more comment maybe before we move into some videos. Dr. Rahman, thank you very much. Anyone else would like to make a comment? I see Dr. Masood is here. Okay. If we can conclude this morning session for us, and I thank you for participating. We're now going to show a few videos about Egypt. We would have loved to have you all with us here in Cairo to enjoy the sceneries and enjoy Egypt and its traditions and its history. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic this year, we are still virtual. Maybe you can visit us some other time, and we'd love to host you in here anytime. We appreciate you participating, and please be on time for the sessions, because the sessions are going to start on time. I'd like to ask all the session chairs and co-chairs and coordinators to make sure that they adhere to the schedule. The presentations for the multiple sessions are going to be about 20 minutes, but allow about 5 minutes for discussions, because discussions are extremely important for all the attendees and for the presenters themselves too. So please adhere to the schedule and enjoy the conference, and we will see you. We'll get back again tomorrow in a plenary session with our guest speaker, Dr. Muhammad Ladian, the very famous economist and business person, and the president of Queen's College at Cambridge. So join us, please, again tomorrow at 2 o'clock Cairo time, and we would love to see you there. Thank you. Now, be with us with some information.
Welcome to Nile University, the first university of its kind in Egypt. Nile University is an Ahliya, non-governmental, non-profit university and a world-class research institution of learning. where you will experience a learning culture that empowers and guides you through the global innovation and science community. Hope you enjoy the online tour of our beautiful campus. Let's start our walk. Nilepreneurs, an initiative funded by Central Bank of Egypt and implemented by Nile University to support entrepreneurship and small and medium-sized enterprises. It promotes local production through different programs like the Incubate program that targets entrepreneurs and small businesses and gives them the support they need. The design of the place, as you can see, and mechatronics labs in Egypt that are certified by FISTO, the German multinational leader company in industrial control and automation. Welcome to Nile University, the first university of its kind in Egypt. Nile University is an Ahliya, non-governmental, non-profit university and a world-class research institution of learning, where you will experience a learning culture that empowers and guides you through the global innovation and science community. Hope you enjoy the online tour of our beautiful campus. Let's start our walk. Nilepreneurs, an initiative funded by Central Bank of Egypt and implemented by Nile University to support entrepreneurship and small and medium-sized enterprises. It promotes local production through different programs like the Incubate program that targets entrepreneurs and small businesses and gives them the support they need. The design of the place, as you can see, is modern and colorful to motivate you, increase your creativity, and impact your productivity. Here's Fact Labs, the first labs of automation and mechatronics labs in Egypt that are certified by FISTO, the German multinational leader company in industrial control and automation. These labs include pneumatics, hydraulics, automation, and CNC. In addition to FACT, Nile University has other engineering labs such as Mechatronics Lab, which is used in automotive systems and robotics, Metrology Lab, a laboratory that is equipped with different dimensional metrology instruments such as calipers, gauges, and instrumentation to inspect various features to help students with the study of measurements, Thermodynamics and Heat Transfer Lab. This lab is used in the teaching of heat transfer and thermodynamics, where experiments are conducted covering heat transfer modes, thermodynamics power, and refrigeration cycles. Lastly, Renewable Energy is a specialized lab to aid students in understanding the fundamental concepts related to renewable energy using solar panels, renewable energy using wind turbine, and the hybrid system renewable energy. As part of the university students' wellness, healthcare, and the study-life balance approach, the university offers a gym and sports area equipped by the latest sports equipment and managed by professional trainers and coaches, in addition to sports fields to help students stay healthy. Some of the university events and ceremonies are done here in the Roman Theater. Here's the pergola, one of the main seating areas for the students in the university. With its unique system and easy access, NU Library made its popularity among students and researchers by providing comprehensive resources and services in support of the research, teaching, and learning needs of the university community. The Civil Engineering Labs Complex, created specially for civil engineering students and research. The lab consists of Hydraulics Lab. The lab is from Cousins, UK, and includes a digital hydraulic bench with water pumps and all valves, an Osborne Reynolds apparatus. Loading frame, which is used for large-scale testing of various structural elements such as beams, slabs, columns, footings. Soil Mechanics Lab. The lab is from ELE UK and is fully automated and includes equipment used for basic soil classification. Environmental Lab. This lab is also from ELE UK and includes COD reactor, benchtop turbidity meter, refrigerated incubator, distilled water still, muffle furnace, glass bakers, and several other devices and chemicals. Materials Lab, also from ELE UK, and includes heavy equipment such as concrete mixer, curing tank, cubes crushing, beams flexure machine, cement tests, non-destructive Pundit ultrasonic, and Schmidt hammer devices. The Chemistry Lab in Nile University gives hands-on lab training and activities in chemistry that are assigned to serve and support Nile University students and researchers. Computer labs are used by the School of Computer Science students in the applied learning of the programming and software studies. This helps students to explore content and directly apply new knowledge. This is one of the technology-based lecture halls in Nile University. It is designed to facilitate the use of popular presentation methods, such as computer-based projection, and to help with the research-based learning approaches. The auditorium is one of the largest halls in the university. It takes up to 750 guests. This is our main ceremonies hub where most of our events take place, such as our annual graduation ceremony. This is just a glimpse of our university and its campus and facilities. This is where you'll be spending most of your time. Hope you enjoyed the tour and found it beneficial. Wish to see you soon as an NU student.
reaches back to the dawn of civilization, Egypt. With a fascinating history that reaches back to the dawn of civilization, Egypt is considered the oldest travel destination on Earth. The African nation's awe-inspiring temples and pyramids have captured the imagination of travelers for thousands of years. Although most people come to Egypt to view its ancient monuments, natural attractions beckon travelers too. The Red Sea coast is known for its coral reefs and beach resorts, while a trek through the Sahara can lead visitors to a refreshing oasis. Here's a look at the best places to visit in Egypt. Number 10. Hurghada. Hurghada was once a fairly small and unimposing fishing village located next to the Red Sea and boasting a number of sandy beaches. Today, the resort town is almost unrecognizable from its past life and has grown to become one of the most visited tourist destinations in Egypt, with more than 100 different hotels, many of which line the shoreline. Hurghada is especially popular for its diving opportunities.
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find
Number 9. Alexandria. Located on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea, Alexandria is Egypt's leading port and transportation hub. Founded in 331 BC by Alexander the Great, the city was once considered the crossroads of the world. Many of Alexandria's most famous historic sites, including a library that housed more than 500,000 books, were destroyed by devastating earthquakes. Today, the city is a faded shade of its former glorious cosmopolitan self, but still worth a visit for its many cultural attractions and glimpses of its past. Number 8. Mount Sinai. Located in the middle of the Sinai Peninsula, Mount Sinai is said to be the place where Moses received the 10 Commandments from God. While there is very little archaeological evidence to support this assertion, the mountain is still a popular pilgrimage site and home to the monastery of St. Catherine. Founded in the 6th century, the Greek Orthodox monastery is one of the longest-running monasteries in the world. Number 7. Siwa Oasis. Located near Egypt's western border, Siwa Oasis remained culturally isolated from the rest of the country until late in the 19th century. Today, Siwa Oasis is an increasingly popular travel destination. Vacationers come to the city to enjoy the town's many freshwater springs, to stroll through acres of palm groves, and to explore ancient mud-built fortresses and remnants of Siwa's Greco-Roman past. Number 6. Sharm el-Sheikh. Sharm el-Sheikh is a well-known beach resort at the southern tip of the Sinai Peninsula, popular with package holidaymakers and divers. It is one of the finest diving spots in the world. Hotels and travel agencies in Sharm el-Sheikh can also arrange tours by jeep, camel, or quad bike. Some of the most popular day excursions include snorkeling visits to Nabec, jeep trips to the Colored Canyon, and overnight trips to St. Catherine's Monastery and Mount Sinai. Number 5. Dashur. Dashur is a necropolis located in the desert on the west bank of the Nile River, approximately 25 miles south of Cairo. Compared to Giza, it is a more tranquil and isolated location to see some very large pyramids. Visitor numbers are much smaller, queues are way shorter, and there is far less hassle. Pyramids at Dashur include the Bent Pyramid and the Red Pyramid, constructed during the reign of Pharaoh Sneferu. Number 4. Aswan. Egypt's southernmost city, Aswan, is a mid-sized city located north of Lake Nasser. Although its own monuments are minor compared to Luxor's, Aswan is the base for excursions to the temples of Philae and Kabasha and to the Sun Temple of Ramses II at Abu Simbel to the south. It is also the best starting point for the excursions to the temples of Kom Ombu and Edfu between Aswan and Luxor.
So it's now 3:30 and it's time to move to the parallel sessions for the papers. Before we leave, there was a comment from Khadija. She was asking about if she wants to change to MOT, what are the skills needed for such a move? Well, Khadija, management of technology, MOT is a multidisciplinary field where you need to have like a combined group of competences right now. And we talk about competences, so we are addressing competences for the future, and you need to move into this direction. So it is about the connection between the business and the technology aspects as well, moving from the very high strategic part in the business component to the very high strategic part in technology, which is R&D, or the new norm, which is the research and innovation, R&I. This is how it should be. And one thing before we leave, to conclude the speech of Professor Khalil, I'd like to share with you one of Dr. Khalil. This, for me at least, a preferred slide about creating more competitive economy. And when we talk about the science, technology, and innovation, and the future of the technologies, we need to think about these three dimensions: the economic system, the technology development system, and the trade system as well. All these are backed up with the public policies, rules, laws, and regulations, and how we move forward. And we need to think about like the overlay, the layer of technology, or a layer of a digitalization. So how about the role of digitalization with policy, trade, and economic system? So to refer back that we will have a session on Wednesday about the future trends in management of technology, as well as pressuring topics with the new normal in Thursday. So please stay with us. And it was really a pleasure to be with you today in the inauguration of the MOT Iamot 2021. Wish you all the best. And it's now time to get prepared to the sessions or the paper discussions as well. Thank you very much, distinguished guests, and it was a real pleasure. See you tomorrow. And Dr. Khalil.
Nazar, just instructions on going to the sessions. Each session has a Zoom link associated with it. So if you select the session that you want to attend and click on the Zoom link, and you will be connected to that session. If you want to move from one room to the next, you can close one room, and then you can connect to the Zoom of the next link. All of those are on the program, which was sent to all the participants.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Khalil. Thank you, Dr. Osman, and all of the board members. On behalf of the all board members in the Iamot, thank you very much, and see you in a while in the parallel rooms, as well as in tomorrow, 2 p.m. Cairo local time, with our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Muhammad Al-Aryan, in the session Ask Muhammad Al-Aryan. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant day. Thank you.